Gilius, it's your chance now. Then Fnatic says, no, we don't want to play that game, and takes it away instead. I actually think that could have been the goal for Schalke, and that's why they're banning so many of these good picks for Fnatic in the first rotation, like Caitlyn Karma as an example. Instead, Viktor's still open, so Azir first pick is not that strong. Surely there must be something better for Schalke to take us right now.
Wow, okay.
If Febiven just locks in a Viktor, you have a perfectly fine matchup for Fnatic anyway. And also, first picking Azir is very risky.
What else could you pick in that situation from Schalke? You would would you go to a different lane? Is it a higher priority for them, or something you want to take away from Fnatic?
I mean, I think YellowStar's Braum performance, while it wasn't standout, Braum is a fantastic champion right now. He's so good in team fights. I would probably just first pick him instead if I was Schalke, also to take it away from Fnatic, because we don't see teams early pick Azir very often in Europe. Because he has some very clear counters, like where Viktor can kind of lane against everything. Azir, things like Varus does really well against him, even Vel'Koz, like these long-range champions does well against Azir. And some of these assassins, while we don't see them very often, the option is there as a last pick on red side into Azir. So I don't agree with the first pick. Clearly they value it so high also because Febiven is a good Azir player. But I don't think Fnatic would just instantly lock it in their first rotation, because this is very good. You get the Braum and the Gragas, which is a flex pick for them, because we know Gamsu loves to play top lane.
So perfect. Gamsu loves to play a top lane. I like to see Spirit on something aggressive as well. I really like him on those aggressive picks, like Lee Sin and like Elise and like Nidalee, where he can really do stuff in the jungle, like we saw last game. I want to see something interesting from Febiven. He has a lot of choice now that he knows exactly what's on the board for
you just save it now.
Fox. Yeah, you just save it.
I mean, if you're a Fnatic, you have two options. Either you save your jungle pick, because then the Gragas is still a flex until last rotation, and then that'll be the last top lane pick. Or you just save the mid lane pick, so you see the full comp from Schalke, and you can either draft towards maybe the poke composition with the Varus, you can draft towards the 1-3-1 one more time with an assassin in there. Fizz, we know as well, has been a pick against Azir quite often.
I just want to say bust out the Vel'Koz and then see that come out, because not many times you can say Vel'Koz would be a good pick here right now, but it really is, and has been changed a little, got a little bit buffed. Yeah,
pretty good buffs. Honestly, his ulti is scary.
Yeah, AoE true damage, dude. But we do have the jungle pick and Trundle coming out. He was banned last game.
So
the flex coming up there, and if he's against the tank, will be doing very well in top lane. If Steve takes that one to the table, difficult to deal with for tanks. The Zed is being hovered, not locked in. The Ezreal has been locked in, however, for Rekkles.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick the Zed specifically right now. I would actually save that as my last pick if I wanted to go for it at all. Fnatic is setting up again for this 1-3-1, where you have the Ezreal just going to the mid lane, being a very, very safe AD carry with the Iceborne Gauntlet, just constantly wave clearing from long range. And then you can move Febiven to the side, unless... Oh, he's hovering some of the funny ones. It's long range. All of his long range poke.
Come on, bring something fun to the table.
It's all long range poke. And then he goes Viktor. Damn it,
Febiven. You played with our emotions and then you picked Viktor in the end.
Because all of those are actually legit picks into Azir. Like Xerath and Vel'Koz and everything. And we get the pick we talked about, and why first picking that Azir doesn't really have that much value, because he's like, oh, you just give me the second best mid lane pick then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I would probably say equally as good.
Yeah.
I don't think Viktor necessarily is under Azir.
No, because we didn't criticize Schalke's draft last time. First picking that Azir coming out, we just needed to see more coming in. Fox, maybe not the most stellar performance we've ever seen, but very difficult for him to do anything in that last game. Now Viktor goes up against the Azir in the mid lane, and waiting on the final two pickups from Schalke.
Right, and the thing about Gragas, especially as a top lane pick, yes, he's building full tanks, so you look at a Trundle and you go, ooh, that's bad. You know, Trundle beats these tanks, take away the stats and everything. But the good thing about Gragas top and why he's being played is because his laning phase is actually very strong, and he can hold his own against these bruiser picks like Trundle, like Irelia in there, and he could do okay. Problem is, once you go to like 2 items, he can't really do anything against the Trundle, and he always have to find a way to be impactful in team fights instead. He can never sit one-on-one against Trundle once we get a few items under our belts. And that is something Fnatic knows. So they can take... I keep seeing this Gnar hover. Gnar is actually a counter pick to Trundle.
Yeah.
And then teams are like, nah, we actually don't want to play it. And then they put the Gragas top instead and pick a jungler. I've seen this so many times now.
I've seen it in Challenger a bunch as well, because it's fine. It's a really good matchup. You kite the Trundle all day.
It's a great matchup.
As soon as he wants to walk up to you and puts the pillar down, it's just like, I'm just going to hop out, and then GG. There's nothing that Trundle can do. Did have the bot lane locked in, though, by Schalke. That is going to be the Jhin coming out. Very happy to see that pick, and the Thresh. Very much a play-making lane right here. You land one piece of CC, and you were just going to be standing there for like the next 5 seconds. Great
lane, as you said, to set up ganks. Great ganger as well with the Rek'Sai. And I do believe the Gnar is locked in. Finally! Yes. Someone decides to take the Gnar into Trundle matchup. Schalke were expecting it to be Gragas top lane, so they picked the Trundle into it. As we talked about, get a few items. Titanic Hydra in there, and then Ravenous Hydra as well. Could be either one. And you smack away that Gragas. Gnar, though, does beat Trundle. It is a specific counter pick for this matchup here. It's very hard for Trundle to close the gap and actually trade with the Gnar.
Yeah, if he kills him, something has gone very wrong. Often when we see in this matchup, the Herald is somewhat prioritized. People want to give it towards one of these top lanes to swing the balance, but it's always difficult to play against that Gnar in mini form. And once you're Mega, you just back away.
My only fear for this Fnatic lineup, though, is it's fairly slow in the start. Like Gragas jungle really wants to farm up. Ezreal needs 2 items to be impactful. Viktor obviously is fine in the early game, but he's not going to be the solo carry in the start. And also the 2v2 matchup with Ezreal Braum, while they can't farm against Jhin and Thresh, like it's a very difficult lane, double range coming in, great gank setup, and you have a Rek'Sai early game who's a strong ganger and doesn't have to really respect the Gragas too much.
Yep.
There are definitely options for Schalke if they get standard lanes from on the bottom side, but that would set up the Gnar Trundle matchup which Fnatic wants. So it's kind of like, all right, do you want to favor your top lane?
The trade-off, right?
Do you want to favor your bottom lane? How do you want to play out in the early game for both teams?
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, use the hashtags, hashtag S04 win or FNC win as we head onto the Rift for Game 2 in this best of 2 between Schalke and Fnatic. We'll see if Fnatic can make this to 2-0, or if Schalke can reclaim some of this and get 1 point for themselves on the week. But so far, losing that first game, not super impressive by Schalke, but I feel the tables have kind of flipped in terms of what we were seeing before. Before, Fnatic, super aggressive, were always able to get these good trades for themselves. Now Schalke actually have the advantages in at least one of the lanes if we go standard, whereas Fnatic going to be kind of doing what Schalke wanted to do before, which is get to the mid-game and then really start executing their comp.
We talked about this in Game 1. When you have Braum and you want to look for lane swaps, you are always able to invade. Strongest level 1 support. Insanely good when it comes to just connecting one hit, apply your passive, and you almost have to flash away every single time. So Fnatic gets the deep vision down, can now get their lane swap, because Schalke didn't hide under any turrets. They will be able to spot them if they're moving anywhere. They have wards in mid, 3 wards down to basically spot everything. The only way around this, if you were Schalke and you wanted to guarantee 2v2 top, would be to rush MrRallez and Sprattel from the fountain straight to the tier 2 tower on top side and just hide on the tower. Because then even these deep wards won't spot anything, and Fnatic will be like, oh, okay, they're on bottom side, because we haven't seen them. And then you're there and you're like, surprise!
Mind games.
But it is risky to do, and also I think for Schalke, in this case, they're okay not having Steve in a rough matchup. They will be spotted right now. Fnatic will see them come moving up, and now they can actually just move back to the bottom side. Because it is a lane swap, you can be a bit late for lane. It doesn't kill you.
Yeah, it does not at all kill you. There you can see the vision as well. Lots of deep vision coming in from Fnatic. And now, they are going to send their bot lane to the bot lane, the dual lane rather.
Around the mid.
Chase down Fox.
That's actually really annoying now, because you're losing early experience as a mid laner, where you know the bot lane for Fnatic can be late on the bottom side because it's a swap anyway.
He's still being blocked.
He's denying more.
Gilius is going to bodyguard him, allow him to get back to the mid lane. The package has gotten to the destination.
I mean, he lost at least 3 melee minions in there, in the mid lane of experience. Yes, Steve got a little bit on the bottom side because Fnatic was so late. And also the rest of Fnatic, or sorry, Schalke here. Loving some Thunderlords. YellowStar is so annoying right now.
He's coming into the mid lane as well. Fox is going to back away. This exhaust coming down and forces the flash out. So Fox is really not in a good position starting off this laning phase. Lost the flash already, lost some of those minions, and the wave is pushed up. So Febiven's just laughing at him, standing at his turret.
Right now, Febiven is halfway to level 3. Fox just hit level 2. Right now, early game levels means everything. Way more than gold. It's about getting as many levels as possible. Skill up your abilities. Everyone else is obviously opting into the swap here. And we have to talk about MrRallez on Jhin. We mentioned this in the last game. A new build been happening a lot over in Korea. Ghost Blade, and then you can go like Dusk Blade as your second item, or you can go more as your second item. Just armor penetration focused. Gilius should not be on the bottom side in a lane swap now. He will get bullied out by Spirit. He should actually be farming his Brew and his Grumpy, and Steve gets to smack the tower.
Yeah, being a little bit greedy there because there was plenty of resources for him to take anyway. Now he gets the blue buff, and he's actually going to try and help Fox catch up by giving him this early blue buff. So
I think that's smart.
Interesting one.
Rek'Sai doesn't need it. Rek'Sai really does not need blue buff at all. This is a good way to help your mid laner back in the game. YellowStar is once again around. He's like, I'm going to help you push out now. Tax a bit of experience in mid. But I like this adaptation from Schalke. Gilius really doesn't need it. Especially not in a swap here. He's not really looking to gank anywhere or anything, and could use any help. He needs some extra experience. No, he's level 3 already. He's just going to go back to base anyway. It's a good little adaptation. Steve did benefit from it because Fnatic had to run all the way from top side down.
YellowStar, he's still being annoying. He's still level 1, but he's had such an impact in this game already. Building the flash in mid lane, going to top lane, stopping a recall.
Fnatic didn't get the tower though in this swap. So everything was really delayed because they had to run from the jungle. It's not about the time they used to delay their Azir, it's more the fact they had to run all the way down to bottom side and realized they were way too far behind in the push. So they recalled, tried to switch the lanes around again. It means Schalke should always be at least one tower ahead and to make it even better for Schalke. One of the big reasons teams like to lane swap now, Pauls, is if Infernal Drake is your first dragon, you swap because you take the first tier 1 tower and no one rushes from tier 1 tower, the first one, into dragon because you fall too far behind in experience and gold and everything. So you always want to take the second tier 1 tower, so when you swap back.
Sure.
And then you're actually high enough level and you have enough time to move in and take the first dragon. So if you are spotting a Infernal Drake, swap it around because by the time you take the tier 1 bot tower, high enough level, go in, you can take the dragon pretty quickly.
Okay.
And suddenly, you get a great advantage. Not only will you have a tower advantage in this case for Schalke, you also get the first Infernal Drake, which is perfect. If it's a Cloud Drake, do not lane it.
Yeah, really priority on that one is
for this,
a lot lower for the teams. But as you mentioned, it will mean that they have a bunch of people from Schalke in the bottom side and they'll be able to walk over to that Infernal afterwards. And meanwhile, Fnatic will take the top tower. So we'll be behind that 1 tower as well. Also, Gamsu is lost out on a lot of gold and also minions, so he is far behind Steve.
But now we should see Schalke just go straight for this Infernal Drake. Gilius is on bottom side, they're doing it. I really like this play. I'm happy to see the follow. What we talk about as well, because it makes it a lot more impactful when they actually do show it and do it. So just a very smart early game here from Schalke, knowing they had a very strong 2v2 lane, swapping in away because of the Infernal Drake coming in here. And you're not really giving away too much because it's much faster for you to take the Drake now as well compared to after just 1 tower when you're level 2. So good early start for Schalke, much better than last game where it actually fell behind fairly early. Only problem is your mid laner got bullied around at the start. Yeah. 2v1 though.
At least, yeah, he got 2v1. So
yeah, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, but still, Schalke getting ahead early is nice for them because they really want to leverage their composition here versus Fnatic, who want to get towards that mid game.
Look at the MrRallez build. Look at the Jhin build.
Already starting off the serrated Dirk, so gonna be that Ghost Blade. You talk about the one in Korea. I saw the Dust Blade coming in, very fun to watch because Jhin benefits even more from all that stuff. So we'll have just a ridiculous amount of AD.
Basically, the Ghost Blade build now is armor penetration focus. So you want early items to give you armor, flat armor penetration. It gives you much more damage in the early game. While you don't really need the attacks with Gilius and Gamsu.
Gamsu walked away from his tower. He's going to try and hop to safety as Spirit comes in. He is level 6, so this could be a little bit precarious. Going to have to force the flash out. Gilius has to use that one so he can jump away from the explosive cask. And now Spirit being 2 levels over his opponent. I didn't even see what was going on that caused that disparity.
Gilius was like hovering around on bottom side in the start, didn't really get any extra farm, and then when he swapped the lanes around, he was staying on bottom side again because he wanted to be there for the dragon as well. So he actually lost a lot of farming time. He's really far behind. But back to this Jhin build here again. Ghost Blade first, extremely strong first item with the flat armor penetration. A lot of your damage comes, you know, towards a single target because your ulti as well is single target damage when you then apply it straight onto someone. So you get so much early damage compared to what you normally get. And your second item then, there are a few options. Like you can go for more as your second item if you need it against a lot of AP damage. In this case, it's a Gragas and a Viktor, so you don't have to rush it in this one. Duskblade then comes in as your second option. Because Duskblade is 100% gold efficient without even using his proc, or its active, or whatever you want to call it, the debuff it applies, the passive it applies. Just the raw stats on it are good enough, and it's the highest AD item in the game together with Scimitar. So if you are Jhin, you want to just stack as much AD as possible because he's still so well with AD. Like late game, he hits like the 700 something crazy AD. So you just want these raw stats, and the active then, or the proc, is a bonus almost for you.
Febiven is getting punished in the mid lane, but I just want to see the evolution of MrRallez's build because it's very fun to watch as well as he just unloads on someone. But here you can see this 1v1 matchup between Gnar and Trundle. We didn't lie to you, it's not good for the Trundle. Flash gets popped up, good! Ultimate in from Spirit, still secure it! There's the boomerang to finish him off. Gamsu will secure the first blood.
This is why we wanted to see this Gnar getting locked in, and a lot of teams have been baiting it in the past, but yes, this is a great matchup. You can keep the Trundle away from you at all times as a Gnar. So Schalke cannot rely on the top laner in this game at all as a split pusher. It's about the 4-man group on the bottom side of the map, especially with the Jhin, Azir, Siege they will have. When you play this armor penetration build as well, you want to constantly look for picks because you have so much early game damage. You want to fire away that W as every single time Rek'Sai fires her Q and like long range poke. Yes, it does no damage or proper damage, but it puts a stack on the target, which means the Jhin can W and snare them. Azir with his long-range soldiers, like this come from Schalke, is all about having extremely long-range poke, and then Jhin applying W every time, and then dealing a ton of damage with his ulti right after.
And you can see just a great executor camp coming in from the Spirit. Great ultimate right into Gamsu, and just because Steve was running along the wall, there is no really way for him to escape. When you're running away, you always want to have like 3 options instead of 2, because if you're walking along the wall, then you can't go left because there's a wall there. So
should be able to jump the wall.
Yeah,
and just kind of leave the map. Like, I'm gone.
Just jump off. Do the just follow George into the abyss. The frog. Yeah.
Damn George. May he rest in peace.
I wonder where he goes. But yeah, Steve should have followed him there.
I actually want a game mode where the Summoner's Rift, you can jump the wall and just appear on the other side of the map instead.
Oh, like
and you can do the same with skill shots. So like if I'm standing here at the wall and I'm shooting like a skill shot, I want the top laner to get hit by it on the other side of the map. That
would be very fun. And really
fun
annoying.
For like one game probably, and you'd be like, this actually sucks for the mid laner because now mid laner nothing has changed, it's just the same.
Yeah.
Probably why they don't listen to my idea of this game mode.
What happens if Ezreal shoots an ultimate down mid lane? Does it just keep going?
Until, like, just keep going. I guess at some point it has to stop, but...
Yeah.
Nah, let it keep going.
I see a flaw with this one.
Let's just keep going.
He just gets 1 ultimate per game.
As you can see here, I haven't really fleshed out my idea at all.
I see.
I'm kind of pulling stuff out of nowhere.
Oh, Fox is going to back away. I think you saw him on... actually didn't see him on the ward.
Huh. Febiven goes straight for full Hex Core upgrade. A lot of Viktor players want to do it after 2 items because the instant impact it gives you is actually not very effective for himself. Yeah. But it's a lot about getting your ulti, their upgrade, so the movement speed of the ulti gets increased. And you can keep like getting the stacks, because again it's 6 seconds and it procs every 2 seconds. So if everyone can just run away from it, you don't get the maximum amount of damage, but if it sticks to targets because it's even faster, then it gets a lot of extra value. But very interesting early for him that he doesn't go for any items like
anything.
Like MrRallez is great on Viktor, Lichbane is fantastic on Viktor, but he just opted straight into upgrading his score.
Very interesting, because remember it scales with levels, so he's only level 9 right now.
That's why it's not that great, right? You mainly do just for the upgrade and the ulti. The W does nothing. Upgrade, like, yeah, you're gonna bounce back slightly, yeah. Good luck.
But still, ultimate will be interesting to track, because extra 20%, I believe, moves 20% faster. Meanwhile, Rallez's going to flash away from the Spirit coming in. YellowStar going to follow up as well. Bounce him right into the 2-shot barrage. Gilius is going to take the Dark Passage over to Sprattel, but MrRallez got blasted.
Another game where Spirit is starting really well. Like, he's the man setting everything up here. Force the flash on top lane, then he gets a kill right after. Now he comes down. Yes, they lose a second dragon. That's important to mention, but Spirit gets something back for the Fnatic team. Even better though for Schalke with these Infernal Drakes. It's actually fine giving up a kill, because we talked about how Jhin stacks so much AD. add in some percent AD from double Infernal Drake as well. Like, he's gonna hit like above 800 AD in full late game.
He's gonna break some records.
He will go crazy. And then with his early armor penetration, he has a strong mid game as well. But you gotta be proactive. Jhin is a terrible champion if you are reactive all the time. Because people, it's too easy for them to either block your damage and maybe try and dive your mid laner.
Burning both summoners and the ultimate from Fox. He makes his way out, so well played for him. But still, Spirit constantly burning summoners, constantly burning resources from Schalke. He's been all over them in this early game.
And he's the man we're looking at in every single fight. Jhin, a champion who can't really escape when a flash body slam Gragas keeps flying in.
Look at this, he's even taking away the red buff now as well.
Same the last game.
Top lane.
He's a bully.
He's gonna toss the ultimate out there and just back away. He's asserting his dominance in the top lane.
Sure, he doesn't need that ulti.
Yep. Won't be utilizing that one for a while, but yeah, MrRallez will find it hard later on into these fights if Spirit keeps finding these flanks, keeps getting in range for those explosive casts.
Yeah, you hit the point where you actually need QSS, because when Gragas will body slam flash you can't really react in time, because if you pre-flash when he just body slams, you might just waste your flash and he'll just do it a second time right after, and then he will flash and you're gonna die.
Right.
So you need a QSS, because then when the Gragas hits you, you can QSS that stun, and then you can flash away yourself instead of getting knocked back in towards the Fnatic lineup. That does open up for the third option of the Jhin build path with the second item. There are 3 key options, which is actually rushing straight towards Scimitar. Because you just need that QSS to survive team fights.
Yep.
Not as strong as the Duskblade Rush, especially because the QSS doesn't give you extra damage when you build it.
Sure.
But if it's between you getting killed in every fight because there's a crazy Gragas and you staying alive and actually keeping the long range, well, suddenly it could save your life and win you the team fight. Yeah,
that's the key thing that a lot of Gragas players don't know, that it is actually a perfect lock going into E and ult. Like, you can't do anything. So you have to buy the QSS.
You have to buy it, yes.
Yeah. So Gilius and Steve coming on to Gamsu in the top lane. He's in mega form, so he's not as mobile. Here comes Spirit to try and save him. Does have explosive cast and all his summoners available, and will get Gamsu out alive, only having to burn the flash. So not too bad for Fnatic, but still, nice gank there by Gilius, taking away that summoner. Spirit's going to come in for round 2, just going to scare away Steve, just in case someone is around the corner. I believe Febiven jumped off the map and there's no wards on him, so...
And you know your life suck when the enemy jungler is higher level than your top laner. And he's not even afraid of him, he's like, yeah, I don't care about you. Gonna push out this wave and then leave.
Yep.
Spirit all over the map, and also the full split push focus build from Gamsu. Black Cleaver first item, I want to stay in my lane, I want to be a bully. Weaker in team fights, yes, for now. Should just go full tank here on and out.
Yeah.
As his build order.
I mean, that's what we've really seen from a lot of Gnars anyway. The Black Cleaver and Gnar, of course, really benefits from that item. Plus, it was buffed a couple patches ago as well. So
now, there was another thing. I keep going back to Jhin. I'm not sure why I'm pulling you down with me, but the keystones. MrRallez actually ran Thunderlords in this game, which is surprising to me. I think running Deficio Touch is fantastic because you can scale so well with AD, and it gets so much bonus damage with their debuff coming after, especially once you apply these single target hits from your ulti in the late game. But the reason he's running Thunderlords is because it is better for him in the early to mid game. And as we talk about with this flat armor penetration build, that's where some of your big power spikes are. It's in the mid game when you have like 2 armor penetration items. Thunderlords will give him more damage there, especially up straight up burst. That's why he's opting for that as his keystone. Need to see it pay off. Right now, Schalke is once again pushed back on the map because they don't have a top lane. It literally doesn't exist for them.
And still, they are ahead in towers, and they're ahead in those dragons with double Infernal, with the next one being Mountain. And Fnatic, while they managed to get killed in return, they weren't able to take a lot in terms of objectives. So we'll see what happens as we transition into mid and late game, because those double Infernals will start to really pay off for them. I just want to see how much AD that MrRallez gets as well. Yeah,
and that's the key thing for Schalke, right? They know they will have a very, very strong mid to late game set up with Azir, with the Jhin, as much as we talked about him. Problem is you can't keep falling behind. If we look at their top lane, at least, like once Gamsu starts getting more damage from his tower, that's a free tower for Fnatic. They then swap Gamsu to the other side of the map, get control on the bottom side, which then gives them Baron control in return. Schalke needs to be proactive. They've done a good job with the dragons. They need to be ready to secure this mountain drake as well. And then be able to start forcing plays on the Fnatic towers. Start sieging with Jhin, with Rek'Sai, with Azir. As we talked about, land that super long range poke from champions like Azir, champions like Rek'Sai, and then instant W from the Jhin right away, and then you just pop the ulti as MrRallez and you just chunk them. If you don't kill them, you force them back to base, you take tower.
We haven't really seen the composition come into full effectiveness yet. We've just kind of seen them
hard
group
to
up.
execute.
Yeah, it's hard, but yeah, we haven't also seen them like group up outside of going for like dragons and not being in a scenario where they're poking more towards Fnatic just launching themselves on top of them and being forced into a fight. So
gonna get a fight
that's going to happen once again. YellowStar is heading forwards and Spirit's completely locked down, but they don't have the damage to deal with him just yet. And MrRallez, meanwhile, opening fire and managed to pick up kill on Febiven as he rotating in. Gamsu, big ultimate onto 4 players. And now YellowStar comes in to try and clean up with the rest of his team, looking for that lockdown. Spirit comes in, doesn't land the body slam, but doesn't need it. Auto attack will finish off his prey. That'll be a 3-for-1 to Fnatic.
Fantastic team fight again from Fnatic. Gamsu, the big hero with his ulti, and it's very important they managed to win this fight. You stop all these dragons from going over to Schalke. You don't allow the team as well to start grouping on your towers. No, now they're even further behind. So not only the Gamsu and MrRallez
completely caught out. Braum gets a kill return onto Spirit, and only YellowStar's there. He's trying his best to kill him. But look at the pillar out from Steve. Will save MrRallez's life, and now YellowStar's under attack. Gilius coming in, and we'll get the lockdown from long range. Deadly Flourish comes in, and a Prey Seeker. But YellowStar, he's still not dead. And Gamsu, he's very fast approaching ultimate. Gilius is not able to chase after, body blocking the Prey Seeker.
So, I mean, I thought MrRallez was
Me
dead.
too,
I
I just written him off.
Gets enough damage down, picks up a kill. See the fight, though, first. So, Schalke is in a really bad position here because MrRallez is completely split off. He's away from his team. He's only able to really land the damage from his ulti and nothing else. So, Schalke is very split up. And now Gamsu joins. Great ulti from him straight away. Rest of Fnatic are constantly sitting here as a unit. Only Febiven was out of position, but he didn't flashed in to join his team and died, but at least he got to join them. MrRallez just being completely separated from his teammates. Worst feeling ever, watching your friends fight without you.
And look at this play. I thought he was just
I
straight
thought
up
he was
dead,
gone.
but yeah. Because the concussive blows was only on 3 stacks, he wasn't stunned. So then he just like killed, immediately got the kill.
Yeah, good pillar as well from Steve. And then MrRallez almost securing the kill.
But we could see a bit of the composition come into effect there by Schalke because they were able to get the long-range Deadly Flourishes and Prey Seekers.
Random comment. Had MrRallez picked a different keystone in the Death Eye Touch, YellowStar would have died because he would have burned down from the passive, obviously no Thunderlords. And there's absolutely no value in this point because he probably knows he needs the Thunderlords for something else because he wants it in the mid-game.
Both of those matches are fine for him because he gets so much AD, both of them scale really well. So it's absolutely okay. Gilius will follow his red buff here and be good to go.
And we get the MR version of the Jhin. Still flat armor penetration because you have the Dirk in there.
Yep. And
then you have basically your mid-game setup. Double flat penetration, Thunderlords, tons of damage, great pick potential. And he is maxing Q first, into W after. The good old MrRallez. No skills yet in his traps. Which I actually do think you should at least put one in traps, because both his abilities, Q and W, just getting one more rank in them does very little. So I think getting traps and setting up around dragon objectives is actually very, very strong. But he opted just for pure damage.
So didn't go for that one in this game. MrRallez is also rocking 55 armor penetration at this point, so it's quite a lot. If no one has built armor, especially the ADC, well, of course it's going to be Iceborne Gauntlet in this game, but those targets are going to blow up very quickly. I mean, Febiven only has 67 armor right now, so you can see really how the numbers start adding up. But 21 minutes into this game, and we have a pause.
Oh, we have a pause.
We do. I have seen that. There you can see Spirit looking concerned. It's changed his hairstyle as well.
We have a pause, Pulse.
We do.
We do have a pause.
Really? What do we have, Deficio?
I'm not happy about it.
Very angry. I can see you right now, just furious.
That's the funny thing about this caster desk in our new studio here. There's so much room to constantly move around all the time and kind of For some reason, I always touch your shoulder.
You do. We're getting very intimate here on the desk.
I'm not sure why. And people can almost see us. We're just outside the camera there to the left.
Can you see my arm? No. Deficio's arm is longer. Even can't see it. But as you said, it was bring your kid to work day. So you know, you've got to constantly give him reassurance that he's doing a good job.
You have a good day.
Yeah, exactly.
Glad you like it.
Thank you. Thanks, Dad.
Do not have any kids.
Well, I'm surprised actually no one's photoshopped my face yet onto like Frodo Baggins and you being Legolas, because there is quite the disparity with our heights.
Talking about a man with great hair, Sprattel is on your screen.
Yep.
Classic.
Well, we're just like judging the player's hair right now.
We are. MrRallez with a more traditional Danish hairstyle.
Yeah.
Very traditional Danish hairstyle.
Nothing crazy.
Where Sprattel is more the Swedish one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there's actually a difference in some of the hairstyles. It's not relevant. Game instead. Pause Reno. We have Schalke in a tough spot. Much like last game, where they're not winning the side lanes. So they're constantly under pressure because we have the Gnar to Trundle matchup we were so happy to see. And you have Schalke then, where they were technically supposed to do well, lose that first team fight around the dragon. Not a proper setup. I don't actually think they expected Fnatic to come in that quick and fight them. Because they pushed out the bot lane and then rushed to dragon. Like, alright, we got the dragon, they're not going to contest.
Yeah.
They show up, TP in with Mega Gnar, surprise Schalke a little bit, and they get completely split up, and then the fight is won by Fnatic. So we got to praise the Fnatic team one more time and saying, today so far they are the better team. Even though I really like what Schalke is trying to do with this armor penetration Jhin. Big fan of the build. Really think it's funny, but really not working for them. They need to be able to siege on these towers and create these long-range picks. Otherwise, Fnatic can just engage every time.
Very much interesting.
Didn't sound very interesting.
No, I was just I was currently hearing what's happening. Spirit and Febiven apparently could not see the blue buff, so that's currently being investigated. The blue buff taking damage, rather. So we're looking into that currently, and we should have an update to you very soon. So
we have some of the weirdest bugs from time to time.
We really do, yeah. Stuff that doesn't even make sense sometimes.
Yeah, like, oh, we can't see blue buff taking damage.
Yeah. It's not even like a direct correlation. Yeah, still, the Jhin is just an interesting pick to see. I want to see more of that pick. But I think this game is in a different state than last game, though, because before, Schalke were in a position where, yes, they're able to pick up kills, but they didn't get anything from it. Now, yes, they are dropping some kills, but they managed to get those 2 Infernal Dragons. Yes. So they're in a position where, going in later to the game, they actually do have like a fallback to some extent, where they might be able to pull back into it, because before it just kind of looked like they were just constantly losing and everything was slipping away from them.
But that's why losing that dragon fight is so bad for them, because they were actually in a very good spot despite being down like a 2,000 gold, and also having that losing top lane, because again they had double Infernal, it was looking great, they had the setup, they could actually just go into late game with it and still have a very good chance of winning. But then when you fall even further behind, because that group that was supposed to be stronger gets destroyed in a fight, it really hurts you a lot, because it means Fnatic can keep playing aggressive, can keep trying to extend their goal lead, and Baron is alive. We know Fnatic is a team who wants to try focus around the Baron setups. We know then suddenly Schalke has to be able to fight instantly. And at this point, we have Flash on Spirit in like 2 minutes time, and MrRallez obviously does not have a QSS, will not get a QSS in 2 minutes. So you can get the same kind of setup where he just engages straight on, Mega Gnar follows up, Fnatic wins another fight.
Because at what point are Schalke able to go for beneficial fights? Because we've seen a lot of the fights so far, Fnatic just completely roll over them, specifically the one at Dragon, which we're going to take another look at now, where they got their 3-for-1. And Schalke just got rolled over.
Yeah, look at MrRallez. Like, when your AD carry is so far away from the rest of your team, something has gone wrong in your setup. But also the way they were starting Dragon, it was like they didn't expect Fnatic at all to move down and fight. Gamsu obviously joins in with the Mega Gnar, perfect timing from him. And then the fight is won from Fnatic because they're playing as a team in this one. Where Schalke is playing as individual members, all trying to kind of be the hero. And obviously getting put in a very tough spot. So I still think Schalke has a lot of tools to use, but a lot of it comes from them being proactive with the 4-man group, again, as we talked about on these towers here, and being able to siege. And you can't do that if there's constantly a threat of the enemy team just engaging and winning these fights against you, because again, there's no way to stop the Gragas at this point. No one can stop the Gnar on the side, and he can always freely just stack up his Mega Gnar. Fnatic then says, alright, they're hitting tower, engage time, boom. and it's another teamfight 1. So we might need Schalke to hit like a third item, where it is like a QSS coming in for the Jhin, before they feel more confident going forward.
Well, we should be getting back into game here. Issue has been resolved. So 2 and 5 currently on the scoreboard. Advantage to Fnatic in terms of gold. As a quick catch-up. And of course those 2 Infernals went over to Schalke, and the 1 Mountain to Fnatic.
Just teasing you guys.
Yeah. We're now back out of game. I wonder if Spirit and Gamsu are trying to get synergy on their haircuts. Both gone with the undercut here. I like the play.
Definitely. I think Spirit maybe started it. And then Gamsu kind of joined and said, oh, it looks pretty good. I'll do the same.
Maybe.
He has a bit more hair, though.
Yeah.
Himself.
I like it myself because I'm also rocking the
This is the second Swedish hairstyle you can go for. The Rekkles.
What do we call this? The swoop?
I actually don't know what they're called.
Oh.
But it's very popular.
Okay. I mean, it looks solid.
I think it looks good.
Pretty good, yeah. And yeah, so we're just trying to get this issue resolved once again. We will update you with the information as soon as we have it. But
yeah, same problem. Fnatic is not able to see the HP on these creeps here, or at least not able to see if they take damage.
Spirit taking the time to
chill,
have a mid-game relaxation session.
This man can be proud.
Yeah.
Like, he's been playing so well
in
today.
both of these games, yeah.
He's
really
been
good. So
really well.
he deserves the rest. Deserves the
not you,
the lie
Febiven.
down. Yeah.
Get ready to fight.
Yeah. Step it up. Rekkles as well. He's copying Spirit. It's like, look at this fantastic thing you can do with these jazz. Game faces are back on though. But,
I feel like YellowStar is the odd man out here. It's like, I don't want to join in on this.
No, very
ready.
stern face from him. It's like, guys, get back in the game.
So, when you have Fnatic here, we talk so much about how they want to play these fights. There's really nothing extra for us to add when it comes to starting fights for them. Just playing this very standard 1-4 composition we see all the time now. It's actually what Schalke is trying to do, but because of Trundle getting counterpicked, it's not working out. And that is one of the issues with Trundle, and one of the reasons he has a very low win rate as a top laner is if he gets in a tough situation, he can very quickly just become such a weak pick, where your main value is your ulti in a fight. And that's about it. You never really become the big bully. You're a bit like a Nidalee, not getting ahead in the early game.
Sure. We kind of see one of the other, I feel, with like Trundle. He's either really obnoxious, pushing the side lane, completely dominating.
He's a Nidalee of top laners.
He's a Nidalee of top lane. Actually, we've been drawing a lot of comparisons today of like the Azir, the Caitlyn is being the Azir of ADC. Trundle is like the top laner.
The Nidalee of top lanes?
Yeah, the Nidalee of top lanes. Very true. And in this game, how do you feel? Where do you feel Steve sits on the categories? Is he gonna be just the Trundle who just does okay? I think so. Currently with Gamsu being so far ahead in terms of kills and farm and everything, and the matchup.
Yeah, I mean Steve is in a situation where it's not really up to him to win the game, and that's actually a very, very important thing, especially for people when they play at home. So not even just professional players, but everyone playing the game, is you gotta sometimes just allow yourself to get carried, and you gotta be able to make the best out of a really bad situation without putting your team even further behind. So like, let's say Steve is like, you know what, boys, I'm going to win this tough matchup. I'm just going to all in this Gnar 24/7, and he dies 2 or 3 times. He makes it even worse for Schalke. Yeah. If he just sits and basically surrenders the lane, loses like gracefully, and the rest of the team is able to play with the 4-man unit, and he just TPs in for fights, and that's how he kind of applies pressure. He actually helps the team way more than if he tries to win the lane now.
Yeah, I don't feel you see that a lot in some of the Western regions, losing gracefully, I mean, in terms of laning. Because I think that's something that Korea does really well. They just like, in bot lanes, it's like, we're just not going to do anything for the first 25 minutes, and we're back in the game.
Yeah, EU players
fight.
It's a lot of it's definitely an ego thing.
Yeah,
like no one wants to be the guy who just got beaten. You know, like in one of these matchups, they want to show, no, I'm better than this guy. It's a big thing, especially in European scrims as well. Like a lot of people want to show individually, I can outplay this guy in lane. So you get like these really, really aggressive games with a lot of kills going on. Yeah, it is sadly not the best when it comes to progression as a team. It is actually much better to just play the macro game and like play the consistent game and play the same way you play on stage. Because on stage you don't see the same from every player. Like Perks will try and do it. Sure. And we will laugh at him sometimes, or we will praise him and say, wow, that was fantastic. You don't have to do it. Especially not in this case. Again, we talk about Steve not being like the main carry on Schalke. So in a game like this, you know what? Sit back, try and do what you can in terms of communication and TP pressure, so the rest of your team can basically win the game, not for you, but they are the ones we're looking at.
I feel like Steve is an interesting player in that sense, because Steve sometimes has those games where he's just like this unkillable tank, and it almost seems like there's nothing they can do that will ever go wrong. Like, I remember in my head, like, games where he's been on Maokai and he just won't die. He'll be on the 1v2s and just will keep on going away. And then we have games where he's just like, he's not, if the game is even, then he's not able to get into the team fights because he doesn't have the right time on TP. So I feel like he has to really be ahead to make sure that works. Well,
just an update for everyone. All the players are restarting their clients. We are in the tough situation that if it doesn't fix the issue, we will have to make a full remake.
Indeed.
Because we cannot play, obviously, if the players can't see their neutral minions take damage.
Yeah, you can't just like avoid the blue buff for the rest of the game.
So we're trying to see if restarting everything solves the issue. You see all the players are super excited about this.
Yep. Well, hopefully it works. We can see them exiting out now, so once they reconnect, we'll see if the issue has been fixed. But, yeah, I'm trying to think what this really means, though, for Schalke, because week 1, great. Came out of the gate really swinging, really impressed by them.
Did play Unicorns of Love.
Did play Unicorns of Love.
Has been the weakest team, I would say, together with Origin, if we look at all the teams.
I think so, too. But then in week 2, obviously, it went down a little bit. And then, yeah, right now...
We got a camera on us now.
We do.
Straight in our faces.
Right in our faces.
Yeah, no, as you said, as I'm getting wrapped in my wire here, when it comes to Schalke's performance, yeah, week 1, great. We saw a lot of good things we didn't see last split. Proactive. Games like these, they have to be proactive to use these compositions, which is where... Maybe it's not the right kind of comps, but I don't want to say it after 1 or 2 games. I want to see more. Obviously, in scrims, this has been working for the team. Otherwise, they wouldn't be picking it. It's always the fun one when we see a new pick. We're like, oh, clearly they didn't practice that one. Yeah, they did. I mean, they're just randomly just picking something. It's just so hard on stage. Again, this is the thing. It goes back to something Freeze was saying when we had him on the analyst desk and we did our post-game lobby show, which is something we do after every single LCS show.
The first episode's out. Check it out.
It is out. Again,
eu.lowesports.com.
We call it post-game lobby. Basically, we sit there, we recap the games for that day. We talk about a lot of things when it comes to teams, when it comes to champions, when it comes to meta. Always invite a pro player or a coach up there. So we had Freeze, obviously, Friday joining us. We had Sprattel actually joining us Thursday.
You're a great salesman.
Thank you very much. Do you want to buy the car now? Or no?
I do. Yeah, it's taking my wallet.
But Freeze basically talked about how teams in North America, when it comes to scrims, this is the point I made before, are playing the scrims much like it is playing on the LCS stage, where it's very focused around macro and making the right decisions and not just like all in fighting. But then he came back to Europe and he got super surprised because teams were just 20 kills in 20 minutes basically. They were constantly trying to fight in lane and be super aggressive, and everyone tried to beat each other. But then when you play here, you don't do that because you're like fully focused, full try-hard, and it's more, oh no, I don't want to be the guy messing it up. You know, I don't want to go too aggressive and then dying 1v1 and costing the game. So the NA scrim culture and change in mentality definitely benefits them when it comes to getting better as a team. We then have to see once we get to Worlds, when it comes to individual skill, if some of the European players will be able to then outplay the North Americans.
But is that not the interesting point, though? Because we were just talking about scrims and how like players are always going for the outplays and looking to be super aggressive, and then when they go on stage, at least in Europe, it's just like, okay, I can't be the guy to mess up this one, and won't.
Which is why it's not that great
super crazy
to practice
plays.
that way.
Exactly.
Obviously, you definitely want to change that, but we also see European teams very, very often have messy first few weeks of a split. Everyone is kind of trying to find their way to play, and as we said, you know, some of the teams going a little bit crazy from time to time, but then once we get to playoffs, it almost feels like every team who makes it into playoffs, they kind of turn a switch. Everything becomes a lot more serious, and everyone like really then wants to become the best team. In the start, it's just about getting into playoffs, and then it's about becoming the best team possible. So we always see these massive changes between a regular season team and a playoff team. And also why we sometimes have these teams like, think back to SK Gaming of Spring Split 2015, so season 5, where they were number 1, They're playing really well. They're playing this 1-3-1 style every game. Just push, 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 win every lane. Great. Once we got into playoff, every other team kind of caught up to them. And in playoff, they couldn't perform. And suddenly they just stopped improving. Everyone else went past them, and they ended up 4th place, despite being first for most of the split. And we see that very often, where a team who's been doing well in the regular season can't do the same in playoffs. Because then teams like Fnatic, teams like Origin last split, they really step up, change their mentality, attitude, and just improve a lot.
I mean, it also depends on the team, right? Like, if you're a refining team versus, like, an adaptive team, like an innovating team, I think that's also compounded by having a new patch, like a really big patch as we came into the split, like 6-9, lots of changes in terms of mid lane. We saw new AD carries coming out, item build changes, of course.
Yep.
So then you compound that, and then you have the teams who are very good at picking up the new hot stuff, like seeing a Shen come out or like a Jhin come out and then doing really well with the pick. And then later on to the split, the teams who are very good at refining the meta and seeing what really works for them, what's good in the meta, and then combining that, those are the teams who will ultimately go further. And there's also the difference, as you already mentioned, between like best of ones, like we had before, now best of twos, going into series is another big thing. So. And
another thing that always happens as well is a lot of people like to look at week 3 and compare every region, be like, which region is the strongest? Technically, it actually doesn't matter because what happens after playoffs anyway for every single region is the boot camping starts for Worlds. And so much can change for a team the few weeks where they're boot camping and playing against different regions. They're learning so many things. They always change so much. So it matters for the overall level of your region and entertainment when you watch the games. But the really good teams can turn on that switch, and once they get to this boot camping stage before Worlds will even start, they can improve a ton and really change a lot as a team. So it makes it very hard to predict which region is like the weakest and who's the second strongest. We obviously know Korea overall, or we can just call them SKT at this point, is like the strongest region, but everyone else, it's so hard to compare. And why also making these predictions before big tournaments are so difficult, because so many things will always change in the boot camp leading up to it. By the way, guys, game has started.
We are not starting. This is going to be off broadcast while we see if the issue is fixed. So
damn,
Deficio has baited you all. That one guy in the crowd who's clapping.
No
like,
one paused yet.
Calm down.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, but it hasn't been 20 seconds yet, Deficio.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
It's been like 14. And now it's been 20
pause.
seconds.
All right.
So.
You're right.
Yeah.
I got super hyped.
I won't take that away from you. But it's also the teams as well who have very good infrastructure. Some of the teams who have older players who typically do well in the best of fives, and the later you go on in terms of format within their region or even internationally, because they know exactly what to do. We've seen newer teams just not be able to step up to the plate. Guess the exceptions to the rule is obviously G2 coming into it, long-standing organization, but with the players being very new, still did very well, of course.
I just want to see more Western teams lose the mentality or mindset that regular season, it's about making playoffs, and playoffs is about winning, and then it's about boot camping for Worlds and getting as good as possible, and kind of try and change that around and say, we want to, from the start of the regular season, practice super hard, have the right mindset, make sure we are as good as possible during the regular season, because then once you move into playoffs, it's about refining what you're doing really well and fixing the small mistakes. And then by the time you make it to the boot camp and Worlds, it's about just basically building on top of everything you got. Instead of always having to start like at a 0 and then slowly building it up, I would like to see teams like try and really start much higher. And that's what I think a lot of the NA teams have been doing with boot camping in Korea before the split. Basically just start at a much higher level.
Well, we're still trying to figure out what's going on stage, but while we do, we're going to send it over to Quickshot, who is going to check in on the game going on in the other studio.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And just to give the shoutcasters and everybody watching here on stream an update, this EU LCS series between Origin and Rocket has drawn to a close. It was a 2-0 in favor of Origin, and Game 2 was a much more one-sided affair. Origin came out the gate swinging. They won some crucial team fights in the mid-game and snowballed ahead. I've prepared a replay package that I'd like to pull up on the screen and start where every game should, with First Blood. Truthfully, Amazing Gank's mid lane, once again, much like he was doing in game 1 of the series, picks up a kill and starts to snowball ahead. If you take a look at this gigantic team fight at 12 minutes, initially, you might think this is bad because Hybrid goes down early, a terrible flash to round out the fight, but Rocket continue to chase. As Origin peel backwards and defend, they're able to force Rocket away. They're able to pick up a multitude of kills, and this was really the team fight that sealed the deal. This is not a different team fight. By the way, this is still the same team fight. It took over a minute to complete. It ends up being a 4-for-1. It also gave Origin the Rift Herald. We jump forward 20 minutes. You can see Origin are up 14,000 gold. Soaz goes where he pleases on that Olaf, and he just runs through Rocket, tearing them a new one. It was a very one-sided game. Origin were ecstatic after the win, and I had a very honest interview with Amazing. He was saying how the team is just very try-hard. They're in a good position at the moment, and he spoke specifically about the impact Xpeke has on the team, saying he brings a lot of positivity, a lot of leadership in-game. He also said that if Xpeke has some positional-related problems, like he did in the first game, that's up to him to fix, and the rest of the team, they'll do their jobs. It's up to Xpeke to do his. The next series over on Stream 1 will be Vitality versus UOL. I believe the pre-match is underway with the analyst desk, so if you want to check that out, that is on EULCS 1. For now, we're going to head back to the Shoutcasters to continue looking at Fnatic versus Schalke.
Thank you, Trev, and good breakdown over there, but we are still investigating the issue here on the caster desk. We specifically are not breaking down the issue and trying to figure it out. But,
it would take a lot of time.
It would. We didn't just run over there.
We are also not talking just to delay the game. We are just trying to wait for the fix.
So, we are going to go back into game very briefly to see if it is fixed. We believe it is fixed with all of the players, but if it is not, we will be going to a remake, so we'll be getting into that very shortly. You guys probably won't see it, but I will update you because I can see it here. So.
Oh, my pocket square. There we go.
I don't even have one today. Yeah, I've got no pocket square to adjust.
One thing, super cool, Origin winning. Honestly, the first 2 weeks looked like one of the weakest teams in the region. Peke definitely having positive impact on the team, playing much better. I'm also glad to hear from Amazing through Trevor, as we just heard here.
Vicariously, yeah.
How they're tryharding. They're actually in a good spot as a team. They're really working hard. So I'm glad to see this Origin team bouncing back. Because with the players on the roster, you're like, these guys will never just be one of the worst teams. Like, they should always be able to improve.
Yeah, even with Peke on ADC.
Even with Peke on AD carry.
Yeah, it was interesting because when we were talking to Peke himself...
Ooh, game started, Pulse!
Wait, don't get hyped just yet.
It's a Christmas. It's a Christmas.
We're still waiting for the players to make sure that they can see the damage on blue buff.
They just killed one cam. Now they're doing the fan, just testing.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. It's not legit yet. They're testing.
We're still testing.
It works, I assume, because they didn't pause yet.
Not yet, but before we got baited. So we're going to get confirmation on that one. But for now, we are back in the game. So I'm tentatively hopeful. Wait, that's not the right phrase. Either way.
Let's do a recap, because if people tuned out and now tuning back in, obviously
maybe forgot.
We've been paused for at least 20 minutes here.
We're good. We're good. I just
basically, early game. Obviously, Schalke actually had a good lane swap where they secured an extra tower, an Infernal Drake, bought a few pink wards to celebrate. We were all super happy dancing around. But then Gamsu showed up in his lane against Steve, has been winning that lane super hard. And the big thing here for Fnatic was the fact they managed to win that dragon fight just a few minutes before the pause, where Schalke clearly did not expect the fight to happen, got split up, lost the fight. They're now sieging. This is what we want to see from them, Pulse, with the Jhin. Look at the damage straight away, obviously mainly from the Azir, but that's what you want to do. Long range poke from Azir, from the Rek'Sai, land the W from Jhin, poke the guy so much he either dies or he's forced back in base, and then you start getting damage on these towers here.
Because either way, you pretty much get the same result if no one can defend the tower. So Schalke don't currently have a minion wave, so it makes it a little difficult to hit that tower. Remember, on this patch, Azir can no longer use a rise on the tower, so doesn't chunk it down as fast as he used to, but still pretty fast with the attack speed. Meanwhile, YellowStar pops the ultimate defensively because he was getting jumped on by Gilius. So
also had to flash.
Go back away. Also had to flash, yeah. So both of those resources used up. 24 minutes into this game, and Fnatic still have the gold advantage, remember, but Schalke trying to fire back using, one, the composition, and two, the Infernal Dragons they picked up.
Oh,
Hook lands
nice.
onto Spirit as he's trying to back away, pretty much in a straight line. Gilius gets a knock-up, but it's still a tanky Gragas. Screw your lantern, I'm gonna tunnel over the wall instead. and make my own way out. Thanks, Sprattel.
So MrRallez now is in the side lane because you need to always push out every single lane. Like, you can't just abandon one lane and say, I don't care about that one. No, you always want to push it out, and then you want to rotate in and group up as 4 again. Jhin is not the fastest when it comes to pushing these, which always buys a bit of time for Fnatic to kind of say, okay, now he pushed it. We can see him walk down the river. We know he's going towards mid lane. Be ready to set up the defense. And then it's all about who can hit the minion wave first. Because if Febiven see the move and he's able to stand in the middle of the lane and just instant clear with laser, well then Schalke can never siege. But in this case, you see how far pushed up their Azir is. Straight to tower, and one more. He gets the crit.
Oh, so close. I'm pretty sure that would have killed him.
It would have killed him, definitely.
With the missing health damage. But Febiven, he got the dancing shoes on and had to burn the flash though to get out of one of them because he knew that was going to connect for sure. So good ultimate out from MrRallez.
And just a good setup by Schalke, pushing that top lane and then the Azir pushing mid lane very, very hard, forcing Viktor to sit back at tower so he can't wave clear instantly, allowing them to set up this very long range siege. They're playing this one correct. Happy to see it, very small things always, like, oh, who pushes the minion wave first? It is important. Otherwise, Viktor, as I said before, just instant wave clear, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess no siege today. And then you have to go back to your lane, and you delay everything.
Schalke doing really well with their composition now, bouncing back after that pause. So, next dragon is Cloud. So, we'll see if there's any real priority over that one.
Too late for Schalke. They had to invest everything.
Yeah, in that mid lane.
Getting mid tower, yeah.
Fnatic will just be able to take this one away. Spirit's currently soloing it, and we've got members from Fnatic as well just zoning away, even if Schalke decide to turn up, which they did not. They are pinging towards the Baron though. There is one ward there from Fnatic.
It's actually funny, a lot of people don't know the small differences between dragons. Like when the dragon is alive, Cloud Drake is the one who attacks the fastest. Actually deals quite a lot of single target damage due to it. So I guess they got one thing it's good at. Can attack fast, yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a deterrent, right? It's just like, one, we don't really want it, and two, it hits even harder. So, yeah, no one likes Cloud Dragon, unfortunately. He has no friends. But Gilius, he's been camped in this Baron pit for like 15 seconds now. And Sprattel is going to go in here with the rest of their team. And I'm not even sure if Fnatic saw this.
Well, the thing is, Schalke was setting up for this Baron while Fnatic took the Dragon, but they're here. This is very risky.
They're all grouped up, and Febiven is there with ultimate in hand. Gamsu TP'd in, he'll hop over the wall, and all of Schalke will back away. So they stopped the Baron attempt. Yeah,
and this is not what Schalke's composition wants to do, like force fights around Barons and Dragons specifically. Again, they want to always land that long-range poke and then remove a target, basically. Setting up for a straight team fight. Obviously here it's more, okay, if they all recall, they're too slow moving down, one guy went to the bottom side, then we can rush it if they're sleeping a little bit. But in the case if Fnatic were quick to react, this is instead what you want. Two lanes, or top lane pushed out, bot lane being taken care of by your Trundle, and then you start grouping Azir and Jhin together. Best friends.
Best friends for life. How much can they do in this game? Gilius is, well, he knows that they're now because YellowStar started moving. Mid lane's being pushed in, Sun Disc comes up from Fox, and they will carry on pushing with this mini wave coming in. Spirit, he's got his full combo available, so Schalke needs to be a little bit careful, but remember how long range their composition is. Spooky noises coming out from Jhin as he charges up his fourth shot, and will reload. Meanwhile, Gilius is off to the side, finding it very difficult to get on top of this tower.
Yeah, Schalke should have rotated to the bottom side here. Rest of Fnatic were hovering towards the top side. They'd already pushed in the wave. They could have actually just joined Steve and taken that tower. Don't really feel like there's much of a risk for Fnatic, or with Fnatic just rushing a Baron at that point, because you're moving a lot quicker than them. But Schalke is staying because they have this Azir tower behind them. It just means they don't really gain anything. Like, when you have that lane pushing in, or this maybe will be the kill.
Oh, YellowStar is blocking the shots, but it's not going to be enough because Fox finds it with the soldier. Meanwhile, Gamsu will launch into the fight, but will die 1v5. 2 fast kills to Schalke.
Just talking about how Schalke could have gone bot lane, taking that tower, not really gaining anything mid, then suddenly Febiven gets caught with that long-range combo. MrRallez managed to land the snare, multiple seconds, and then Azir soldiers are standing right next to this Viktor, hitting him.
Spirit's over the wall, looking for a steal, but what a fantastic pillar coming out from Steve. Will force him away, and Fox is just playing the zoning game, and the Baron goes down to Schalke, uncontested here, and will be picked up on all 5 members. Big minion wave in the top lane, but I mean, Fnatic just lost out big time in that play.
Yeah, that was the best Schalke could have hoped for. Because again, they didn't really gain a whole lot, and then they create that one pick onto Febiven. Stayed around, had the tower behind him from Azir, gives him the Baron, chasing for more kills.
Oh, Gilius flashing after Rekkles. There's the ultimate in return from YellowStar. Great play by Sprattel. Now with Fox coming in, they're trying to finalize a kill, but Gilius dropped low. Rekkles charging up the ultimate 2-shot barrage. Will attack him. So close.
It was a golem. Why did I get hyped? I thought it was Gilius.
Oh yeah, he's not dead.
And just a small golem.
Yeah, that was what the golem was for. No, he was trying to snipe off Gilius there, was not quite able to connect it, and everyone will back away. So no casualties down in that fight. Get less hyped, Deficio.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that low HP golem coming in. All right, so what happens? Oh, it's just a great setup from Schalke here. They proc a little bit of damage on Febiven, so the snare will obviously, or the W will snare from Jhin, and then the pillar just from Steve. Febiven had no flash. Great setup from Schalke. And just when we thought they weren't going to get anything, they get everything, basically. Kill, Baron. Now you can go back to grouping with these 4 members in mid. And you just put Steve on your side lane once his TP is ready. Just a few more seconds for him. And you keep playing this 2-lane game where 1 lane is just minions only. And you just play around 2 lanes, and the jungle in between those 2 lanes is all you care about right now. If you're Schalke, take a Mountain Drake, really benefits your composition in 1 minute and 30 seconds. For now though, the siege is on.
I mean, this is the perfect place really. They have open range to land all of their poke. Here comes the curtain call. YellowStar's going to block a lot of these shots. 2-shot barrage will be fired back towards Schalke. So seeing this long-range warfare come in, the war of attrition, but it's always going to be Schalke who comes out ahead with this composition. And with this Baron buff, there's still a minion alive, so there's no reinforced armor on that tower. It goes down very quickly. Big crit from MrRallez to finish it off. And he currently has like, what, 500 AD, I think? 488. Yeah, he has a lot of AD only 31 minutes into this game.
And it's even more about just, oh, nice flash from Steve, but even more about the armor penetration for him with the flat armor pen in the start against squishy targets like Febiven. Whereas obviously no armor items, no hourglass yet. So much damage every single time from MrRallez. And this time they did join Steve with the wave on bot side, going for another tower. Gilius is constantly looking to land that little bit of damage just to allow the snare to hit from MrRallez. That's the only reason he's doing it. His damage actually doesn't matter. He just wants to feel like a man. But not the case, Gilius.
Nope, not today. One day he will be a man, but all right now. Schalke in jungle. Steve was just trying to take away the Merc Wolves, but they'll follow him out. The guard dogs. And 4 and 5 in terms of kills, but that's not really the story of this game. Fnatic ahead in gold still, but tempo absolutely over to Schalke.
Steve should just go and catch the wave on top side to also stop Fnatic from being able to trade the top tower for Dragon. But rest of Schalke is actually staying around, trying to do that. That's another pick.
Great lockdown from Schalke so far. YellowStar will be biting the dust. Return 5, the true shot barrage, but Gilius will keep on chasing. Ultimate in from Febiven will deter him from going much further.
Man, I love this Jhin comp from Schalke, because every single time you're like, oh, Fnatic could maybe get something here. Then you get like this long-range poke, and then a W from MrRallez straight after, and you get another kill. Every single time. Oh, Fnatic might want to trade top tower for that Dragon. Nope.
Nope.
One guy dies. Rest of Fnatic has to now run back. Mountain Drake for Schalke. MrRallez and the rest of the team making the Jhin work.
Whew, close.
I mean, after all the praise and hype we had around this Jhin, it had to work at least somehow.
Now you get to loop back and say, look how awesome this Jhin pick is we were hyping up.
Yeah, another thing we've seen career with the Jhin is like Nami always been picked with it. Even Karma if you're SKT from time to time, but Nami specifically, because obviously it's fantastic lane. 2v2 Nami is like one of the absolute best supports in lane.
Yeah.
But also because Tidal Wave is such a long range ability. So when you are sieging on these towers, you just use the Tidal Wave to like block basically half the lane. And then the Jhin can always just freely charge up his ulti, and if you get hit by the Tidal Wave, you'll get hit by the ulti. Yep. Well, if you move to the side, well then you're only basically running in half the lane, and Jhin can really easily just apply damage with the ulti onto you. So it's super good setup between the two. This one though is a Thresh, not exactly the same hype.
But still good though, if you land a Deadly Flourish, if you land like a Flay or like a Death Sentence into Deadly Flourish, they are CC'd for literally forever, but it's all about, you know, building those compositions around those different picks, and if you do that, then they work out really well. We even saw it last game, right? From like Fnatic bringing out the Shen, they had a composition which was built around playing on 3 lanes, and then Shen was great. And
then last game we criticized Schalke for not always being able to engage and allowing Fnatic to set up their split push. In this game here, there have been times where Schalke are hovering around the tower for quite some time, and Flash was ready for Spirit.
Yeah.
And Fnatic didn't engage. They waited, gave Schalke time, and then finally they find the pick. Kill Febiven, take the Baron, and obviously then go back and take mid tower after. So that's why it's on Fnatic now to be a lot more proactive.
Talking about proactivity, YellowStar and Rekkles will try and kill Gilius in the top lane. Just needs one more auto attack or Q to get the stun off into the ultimate chain from Fnatic, and that will result in an easy kill onto Gilius. Such a good setup from YellowStar and Rekkles.
Fnatic's bot lane doing all the work here. Gamsu's on the bottom side pushing, no Baron yet, so nothing Fnatic can really take at the moment, but you love getting a free kill and also a flash from the enemy Rek'Sai. Rest of Fnatic might get some deep vision, and that's about it at this point. This tower, though, is open. Gilius 20 seconds. They can just push straight in forward. MrRallez is trying to be annoying and force someone back.
Yeah, curtain call. First 2 shots land onto Febiven, but his health is not very low, so he's not going to take a lot of damage from that one right now. Just trying to soften up those targets.
Easy
but
tower.
Yeah, 2 auto attacks from Rekkles going to finish it off, especially with that Mountain Dragon. And Fnatic will head on back to base. Remember, next Dragon will be that Elder. Bot lane, 2 tanks going head to head. Remember, it's still Trundle versus Gnar, so Gnar has a very good time in mini form. And then when he's mega form, he wants to be a little bit more careful because Steve will pop his ultimate and be very strong. But apart from that, Gamsu, great lane.
When we get the Elder Drake as well, Pauls, here both teams really benefit from it with 2 dragons on one side of Fnatic. Obviously, Schalke benefits way more with his double Infernal and the Jhin. Like, we want to give them the Elder Drake and then see the amount of AD from MrRallez. I was sitting down on my knee here.
Yeah, I can see. I was just like, are you just trying to
Pauls, do you want to marry
the,
me? That's basically it.
Oh, I see, I see.
Setting it up.
No.
No? Okay.
Everyone was expecting the yes. Fnatic, they're just camping around Baron area. There is a ward going down, so YellowStar will take that one away. Trying to camp in this bush, the good old Fnatic death bush.
Don't really have to set up for it yet. They're hoping Schalke moves in to try and like challenge some division, and then Spirit gets his engage. Always look at Spirit before this fight. The body slam flash from him can win or lose Fnatic the game. If he doesn't hit a key target, they can lose the team fight. If he gets onto MrRallez or the Azir, that's a kill for Fnatic almost every single time. Because there's nothing really to stop it. No QSS, no kills or anything. The kills might even be too slow, really, to help in that situation. Rest of Fnatic still back in here. They want this bot lane to push as well. And we just kind of play by playing a team running around the river.
We are, but now everyone's camped in this bush. Again, moving back into the mid lane, just rotating back and forth. Remember, in this situation though, it's all about one person just stepping out of position, and then Fnatic being able to punish, or Schalke being able to do the same. Spirit is looping all the way around, and everyone is all over the place. This is really weird.
Switch sides here. Gilius going in, very aggressive.
Knock up onto 2 players. Sprattel will come in. Fox is going to land the down to the Sand Soldiers, and again Gilius by himself. The team not able to bail him out of that situation. Gamsu into the fight.
Whoa.
Big Gnar ultimate onto 2 players, and Steve will try and return some damage, but Fnatic are running all over Schalke. Steve will be falling. Sprattel's trying to get away, and Fox is going to slide and glide to safety, but the rest of the team not in a good position. Quadra kill for Rekkles.
Man, Schalke had a fine position there. It was all about just pushing up the mid lane. They just placed their Azir turret as well. Fnatic couldn't really do anything around the Baron just yet. And then a very random no-flash Rek'Sai just tunnels straight into Fnatic, dies almost instantly. The rest of Schalke tried to follow, but again, their team does really well when they pick off one target. Fnatic does well in a full-blown team fight. We didn't even have to look at Spirit, we just have to look at Gilius.
Fox coming in there will get a return kill onto Rekkles just as they manage to take down the Baron on Fnatic. Fox trying to return a bit more damage, but they get at least something from that play. But Fnatic bouncing back in this game with that Baron. But really, I need to take a look at that last fight again, because really weird. I feel like there's a disconnect between Gilius and the rest of his team in this series.
You also got to keep in mind, when you play Jhin, you always single out one target, not 3 or 4 guys together. No, you hit one guy every single time. Great ulti from Spirit, knocking MrRallez away, and then Gilius is just all alone. The TP as well from Steve is so delayed because he had a trade with Gamsu. Great ulti as well from him. Seen that twice now this game, and the rest of Fnatic can fairly easily just clean up. We also saw Febiven get his damage down before dying. It's not been, again, a fantastic game from him. Do like the build though. We talked about the Lich Bane MrRallez much earlier in the broadcast. How good it is on Viktor also, because you don't need that much protection now. You have so much upfront damage, deal that damage, and then move on. But now we're gonna fight for Elder Drake.
Well, the Dragon is alive, and Schalke already starting this one off. Spirit's over the wall, but Rekkles is not with the team right now, so this could be good for Schalke. It's a round down to half. Lots of poke onto Gamsu. He's going to drop before the fight even begins. YellowStar now getting poked out of the fight. Sand Soldier's doing work. Gilius is still on the Elder Dragon. The attention has been swapped up, but it's still 4 versus 5, and Fnatic will back away Elder Dragon to Schalke.
And what a difference here, because Schalke didn't try and just engage onto Fnatic. No, again, they were looking for that one target with the long-range damage and CC they have. They found Gamsu in mini form. Easy kill for them. I want to see if the Trundle pillar actually blocked Gamsu from jumping out. Great setup though, this time around for Schalke. They get the Elder Drake, double Infernal. MrRallez at this point is on 540 AD. Obviously not as high as we've seen in the past, because some of it is in the armor penetration bucket here. Also with the Last Whisper, Rapid Fire doesn't really do that much for him. In that case, it does of course do a little bit, but if you want to hit their 700-800 ones, we need a Scimitar in there, we need an Infinity in there. It's more raw AD if you want to hit the crazy points. But great setup something from Schalke. It's crazy how this team going from what are you doing, that's like the opposite of what your comp wants to do, to oh, that was actually perfect.
Yeah.
Obviously also with Rekkles running down because he died at that Baron. Funny how what looked like a small thing before actually turned into a very impactful thing, because he then came in very late for the fight.
Gilius knows YellowStar and Rekkles are now clearing away that ward, but again, it's a bit of damage.
Every time.
Allows MrRallez to open up with the ultimate. The Breakable comes up, and Spirit will block the last shot there. Big crit, but he's going to shake that one off. Fnatic are now having to hold the line, and Baron just won off Fnatic, so going to be a little bit harder. As Elder Dragon is still on Schalke. Steve is by himself in the top lane, and Fnatic all rotated up there. Steve is just kind of try and walk away, but he's down into the Guardian Angel. Gilius is there. Sprattel and MrRallez are trying to back him up, trying to grab this lance into safety. Now Gilius is also able to tunnel away, so lost the Guardian Angel.
And Fnatic managed to delay Schalke, forcing them to come up and help Steve. Give also Febiven time to clear out the wave here, so they actually just bought a lot of time. Keep in mind, Elder Drake is only 2 minutes. So you got to be very quick from when you take it. Very often after you will recall, and then you're going to run out, and suddenly you only have like 1 minute 30 to use it. With Fnatic ganking Steve on top side, actually bought enough time. Elder Drake is now gone. And funny enough, while Elder Drake is super strong, teams actually don't value it that insanely high, because again, duration is so short that it's so hard to use it. Like, it's kind of like, oh, can we set up a final push? Great, we love it. But then you get games like this where, getting it actually didn't even do a whole lot. Obviously, it is insanely strong. Also why it only spawns every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's harder to use it to close out the game than a Baron, which is obviously 1 minute 30 longer.
And right now, more of a lull in the action, I would say. So we are 42 minutes into this game. We're seeing more items being picked up. Pretty much full item build in the mid lane from Fox. Bot lane, MrRallez did pick up that more Malmortius in the end. Didn't pick up as a second item, as we were talking about early game.
He did. It's been half an hour ago. So
oh, really?
Yeah. He did take it
missed
there.
that one.
I can make it more than half an hour ago.
My defense
40
was
minutes ago.
There was a pause there.
Yeah, almost a new game, basically. Yeah. Gamsu does have flash available.
He's getting chunked out. Look at the damage out from Fox. Going to follow after with the Conquering Sands once again. One more soldier comes in, and the hop will just barely save Gamsu. Fox is very scary. Welcome to late game Azir. There's a hook flash out from Rekkles.
Like our Schalke now. I'm more confidence in the way they're moving around, poking down Fnatic. Yes, okay, they're still slightly behind in gold, but at this point it barely matters because you're so close to full items on everyone, except for supports. Boo-hoo-hoo, supports never get full items. Mikhails, though, I actually really like it from Sprattel here, to try and stop from the CC chain from Fnatic. Because again, Fnatic can only really win fights if they can get onto the backline of Schalke. Or if Gilius randomly dives in again and dies. But he obviously won't do that a second time.
Well, we saw that twice in the first game, and then once in this one. But obviously the objective is not to.
Protect the backline.
Protect the backline, especially when your backline is so strong in this game. MrRallez and Fox, really scary at this stage in the game. But that being said, Febiven has often been able to land his ultimate in the fight and then die, and then Rekkles is 7-1 and 2, so it's full item build himself. But it's really just the tension is building towards the next fight, because it really can just swing the game and probably end it.
There's no clear plan for any team at this point because it's so hard to just rush down and finish the game. So both teams are just waiting for the next objective. And then you're going to see a fight for Baron. Then you're going to see a fight for Elder Drake. And then we go back to Baron, you know, for every single time the team doesn't manage to finish when they have on the buffs. And you get these big team fights late game, but with a lot of downtime in between. Because like, what would Fnatic be doing now? You can't set up a 1-3-1. That doesn't work. If you go 1-4 and try and siege the tower, you play right into what Schalke wants to do. So Fnatic is basically saying we can only wait for an objective and then have Gamsu in a good position as a split pusher and take that fight around Baron. And then it's about whichever team has control before. Set up the pink wards and the vision first. Especially great for Schalke with the long-range poke. If someone has to walk in blind, it's an easy pick for Schalke. Baron is alive.
And has been started off. Look how fast it's dying to Fox and Rallez. Fnatic will have to respond very quickly if they are to do anything. Spirit looking for the steal to come over, and it goes very low.
Oh,
Steal out from Spirit, and Fnatic now close in. Febiven with the big ultimate. YellowStar coming in there as well. Gilius will have to back away. He took so much punishment from the start of that, but what a steal out from Spirit.
So important that Spirit gets it. Yeah, Schalke had a lot of damage, but the rest of Fnatic, they were all around. And I thought we were going to get a big fight.
Me too, Deficio.
Instead, we just get a Baron pickup. And Fnatic can then go back to try and siege versus the Jhin Azir.
There's no big old plate of European ham.
Nope.
Very sad.
Not yet. Had this been a scrim, it would have been 45 to 42 kills probably right now. This is on the stage. Therefore, a lot less kills. Spirit though, looking for an engage. There it is!
He is very sneaky. Ultimate comes out and Fox cannot get to the lantern. But Fox is going big. He takes down Rekkles and is finally shut down.
That was quick. It was very insane reaction. I thought he was just going to die instantly, and then he just destroys Rekkles. 4v4 now. Another
Flash ultimate out from Gamsu. He's going to start this fight underneath the tower. He's going to close in on that Gnar as well. Meanwhile, Gilius gets dragged in back into the gravity field, and Fnatic finally finish him up. That'll be a 1-for-1 trade once again.
Another hook from Sprattel, 3v3 now.
Triple Flake comes in, Spirit onto Steve, but Steve does so much damage at this stage again. He's going to flash onto Febiven and get the chomp down. Spirit will back away and try and get out of here. RallEz is on the hunt. And YellowStar, what can he do to try and protect him? Barrel comes down for the slow, lancing over the wall. RallEz is low himself, but YellowStar, he's desperately trying to walk away. The Deadly Flourish will pin him in place. Good pillar once again, but Spirit staying in range. So you can use stand behind me. RallEz knocked away.
They're just buying time right now. Spirit is going to get caught.
Play comes in.
He's dead.
Death sentence lives up to his name. Schalke picks up the kill.
Yeah. In the end, Spirit does go down. Both teams are just so even in this game. They keep just trading. 1 kill, 1 kill, 1 kill. No one seems to get a massive advantage. Here we have a screenshot of something that happened like a minute ago. Now we take the screenshot down.
We're meant to CSI the crime scene.
There we go. Right. Now we get the crime itself. So it's a great engage, but then look at the damage. There's a zero combo. Everything.
That was on a split second as well from Fox. That was very insane reaction times.
And that was the key engage from Spirit. All right, we're back into life.
We are indeed.
Grump.
Oh, yeah, he's going to chase away Gilius. Terrashoot control. But the rest of Schalke will go back into this mid lane. And despite Fnatic actually getting the upper hand in the last fight, it's now Schalke who are aggressing onto YellowStar. He's just dead, but Gilius gets dragged in, and he's able to get away. RallEz opening up with the curtain call. Big crit onto Febiven. He'll be taking a trip back to base. And Gamsu very angry into Megaform.
So again, Fnatic losing one member. Spirit was dead before. This opens up for Schalke to finally push towards the inhib turret. They've wanted to push this tower for such a long time. Always have to respect the engagement. There's no flash from Spirit.
Now the push down the mid lane. This is really where Schalke can shine, poking down this tower.
And at this point, the Spirit really should have CDR boots and not swiftness. They are not great anymore on this patch, and you need that reduced cooldown on your summoner spells when you play Gragas, because your main job is being able to engage where the enemy team can't react in time. So that's a poor choice for him, meaning his flash is still on cooldown at this point. He's not a threat for Schalke.
Oh man, that tower just disintegrated. Schalke destroyed the bottom inhibitor tower, now trying to take this inhibitor itself, but it's difficult to push up further. And Schalke are happy with this for now, and will back away. MrRallez will take the fast path back to his team. Elder Dragon up in 20 seconds. And there's the blue buff as well. And we saw how fast Schalke destroy these objectives, especially with Fox. So yeah, if Fnatic want to contest it, they have to be there fast. They have to be there basically at spawn. And Schalke know this. They will set up a potential trap for them. Pillar comes up, but they're not quite in range. That was sniffed out by Fnatic.
Gamsu on top side, playing out the wave. Everything else is fairly safe in the base of Fnatic, but Elder Drake started 780 Jhin, hitting it, setting up for the fight.
And jump over the wall will not get the steal. Oh, Febiven with the steal! Ultimate in from Spirit will be enough. Sprattel is going low. Spirit's going to make his way out of the fight. And Fox does not land the ultimate. Febiven going down, and Gilius will try and get to safety. He's getting away from his team, but Steve is not going to be so lucky. He'll go down into Guardian Angel. Void Rush to the opposite side of the map, and is leaving MrRallez out to dry. Spirit is going to chase him down, but does need his team if he wants to take out his prey
MrRallez
here.
has a crit. He has a crit ready.
Very scary. Got the swag walk. Gamsu now coming in. They really want MrRallez to reload, actually. They're going to let him live for now. 3 and 1 and the Elder Dragon.
Twice we've seen Schalke start the objectives. Baron once, Elder Drake once, and Fnatic stole both. This was Viktor stealing it. In the late game, they win the fight. 3 members dead from Schalke, pushing in. It's only MrRallez and Gilius to defend.
I'm not even sure if they can defend.
No, look at the minion wave as well.
Massive minion wave. Fnatic are pushing in here, and they don't have the best of wave clear to stop Fnatic. Here comes a deadly flourish. Gilius is going to jump in, get the triple knockup. It's not going to be enough for now. YellowStar gets punted back. Gilius still trying to put down the damage. The next turret hasn't fallen just yet. Now one falls. Gilius is going to be receiving end of the ultimate. Sprattel has respawned. Kill onto YellowStar. The defense is good.
Game is not over yet. This game will never end, by the way. There's always something happen. Never. It will never end. We have another like 40-minute pause
it's
soon.
It's not a bad game to be trapped in. This has got very interesting.
Very exciting. Again, both teams just constantly trading objectives. Gilius is very low. What are you doing?
Whoa, there's the ultimate out from Febiven. Is chasing him down. There's the velocity. You see how fast that thing's running towards Gilius. But right now, he's being closed in on by Rekkles. I mean, I think he's just dead.
Oh, he missed it.
It was a zoning ult. Gilius is out! No!
The reason Gilius made that play was to set up wards behind Fnatic when they were retreating so they could TP in with Steve, because YellowStar was already dead.
So many resources used by Fnatic though. They don't have those 2 big ultimates, and a punish comes in from Schalke. Can't quite get a range in time. Great gravity field.
15 seconds now on YellowStar. Gilius will have to recall. Won't have ulti for a few more seconds, but he just wanted to try and set up a deep ward for Steve to catch Fnatic and try and win the game. End up staying alive. Spirit missed the ulti. And Baron is alive in 5 seconds. Look at Fnatic. Look at your minimap. They're rushing straight towards the Baron.
Yeah, it's just about to spawn.
Schalke has to move very fast to stop this. They're around mid lane. And then look at this massive wave hitting the tower as well.
Yeah, no one's going to clear it out for now.
They won't be here in time. That's a Baron for Fnatic.
Goes down so quickly. Here comes Gilius. Can he get the steal? Free smite. And Spirit will secure it. Gilius is going down. There's the ultimate coming in from MrRallez. Sprattel comes in, lands the death sentence, but not going to be quite one right now. Fox comes in, looks for the assassination. Big ultimate onto a couple members. Not quite going to be enough. And Steve also gets caught out trying to clear the lantern, but there's just too many people dogpiling on top of him. And 3 and 0, and the Baron. Fnatic are coming in for the kill.
They have so many minions in the base already, buffing up the super minion here. Rest of Fnatic, everyone is alive. Finally, they managed to win a fight. And this tower is going to die.
Yeah, it's going to go down, and we will actually have an end to this game. Deficio, as Fnatic will pick up the tower, and the Nexus itself, taking the 2 and 0 on the week against Schalke.
Fantastic. Last 15 to 20 minutes, so much action. The crowd got hyped.
We got hyped.
We got hyped. I even thought Gilius might have stolen the Baron there in the end.
I saw the smite go down and my heart was racing.
Almost turned around. I'm like, no, I can't even watch. But
go on without me.
One of those games where the game plan is just it doesn't exist. It's just constantly reacting on the fly, being like, what's the next objective? We need it to win. And then whenever you start it, it's never really controlled. for either of the teams. There's always a chance of a steal, and that always kept this game going back and forth. Schalke looked like they were winning. They were pushing in the pace. We're like, all right, Elder Drake is coming. Schalke is gonna take it, and then Febiven stole it.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
Like, I actually thought it was just, it just went over to Schalke, and I was just like, oh, they got it, but this is like, it didn't even go over to a jungler, and this game was absolutely absurd. We had such a lot of downtime, especially with a pause as well, in terms of mentality. This game literally went on forever. This must have been at least 70 minutes here.
It's just a camera, guys. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. Just keep walking. It's okay.